just like when we have a race, those of you that have been race marshals, you guys know how, um, you guys know how, you got the race director and then the various marshals in the field. It's kind of the same way in the broadcast. You've got the lead, the play-by-play guy. Um, sometimes they might be working on their own, but usually we try to have two guys in the booth. Basically, try to have two guys in the booth. You'd have a play-by-play guy and then the color commentator working the camera. Which you just do with the controller. It's not a big deal. You're in a chat party that is being broadcast, and that's how you do the commentary. If you're solo, you can also do it. You'd have to work the camera yourself. We were going to tell some of the guys also that for those that don't, maybe they are interested in broadcasting, but they're not really into yapping on the mic. It's not a big deal to just do a raw feed if you're not into, if there's not a broadcaster available, you don't want to do play-by-play, that's fine. Watcher I invited in, he's a new team owner for Renaissance Racing, forming out of the JME shop. I figured you might want to hear some of this being part of the owner's board now, Watcher. We're just talking about the broadcast and stuff.
All right,
I guess whenever everyone's ready.
All intents and purposes, make sure you have your mic to always share, and then I'll go down the list and ask you to say your name just to make sure you're coming through in the broadcast. So if you watch it later, you can still hear.
Yeah, go in the settings. You want to make sure your mic level is high enough. And like he said, where it says allow your voice to be shared, put always allow. That's in party settings right here in this party.
Yep. Alright, so I'm going to start with Baron. Baron, say your name. Alright. Let me just hear on the broadcast, make sure it's there. Okay, I'm not hearing Baron. Muttley. Okay. Let's see. It's about a 2-second delay here. Yeah, I'm not really hearing it on the broadcast, so I'll just probably repeat what you guys say, or just restrain it. I'll probably be doing most of the talking anyway. So, the whole thing about the commentary is, we're looking for people to do commentary and also the race director for each series, which would be great. If you could, like Carlin said, you don't have to commentate if you don't want to. As long as we get the race broadcast feed out there, that makes up the difference of commentary or not, because people will still want to watch the race. As I've been looking over the old stuff, the Bathurst Pro-Am, as it sits right now, I think has about, almost 200 views, something like that. So, I mean, it's not like it's some, like no one's watching it. People are watching it, so it'd be cool to get all the videos out there. Now, if you do want to do commentary, that's where the personality comes in. In commentary, some points of the race, just like last week at Indianapolis, there's going to be times where, stuff goes wrong, or, it's just a boring race, and then you got to fill it in with your voice. So, like, look over the website, look over, all the info you can, so when things do go awry, or we have a caution or a red flag bearing, you can start talking and fill in that void of racing. If you're doing directing, which also plays in part if you're doing directing and commentating, it's almost a dual job when it's just by yourself, because you'll be in the pit monitor picking the camera angles and whatnot. It's pretty simple. You have your cockpit, your chase, your roof. On the broadcast, I'll start moving around here to let you guys know. Yeah, so I'm on the pit monitor now, and over here on the list, that's your drivers. You choose it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that just changes the drivers. And then you click R1 to go back down to the bottom, and then you can choose your camera angles. Turn your interface off, on. And then we don't recommend doing the speedo, but you can always click it on real quick to see top speed or not. Your map's there if you want to see the map. And then timings if you want to see, during qualifying who's where. Then you have your cockpit view. Try to get someone on track here. That's moving. Alright, so you got your cockpit, your chase, your roof, your bonnet, your bumper, then your onboard, which is pretty much chase, but it's kind of rotates between all the views onto the left. Your track side, which will be used most of the time to commentate on, and then it rotates through every single view, so you get a good variety. Most of the views you will be using, more than not, for intensive purposes, probably going to be trackside, cockpit, roof, and more and less probably chase sometimes. If you want to use bonnet and bumper, that's up to you. A lot of people like to use that stuff. I'm not really picky, but usually chase, roof, and trackside is pretty good to commentate the action.
Yeah, I would say, Warren, a good way to do it is most of the time you're going to be on trackside, and just staying with the leader, bouncing around a little. I personally like to use chase cam. I think as a viewer, I like that. I'll switch to chase cam when I'm trying to, especially a speedway race where there's a pack of 6 cars. You might want to jump onto chase cam with the 6th place car to see what's going on in front of you. Basically, the times that you'll really use the specialist cameras like the cockpit and stuff and the rotating camera, you're going to use that mainly when there's a lull in the action, like you're doing a road race and there's nobody racing for position at that exact moment. It's when you would just kind of you would use those special views. But I think, trackside and one of the chase type cams is probably 80% of what you're doing.
Yeah. Because this game actually did a very good job, unlike other games, with the trackside views. They kind of looked at real life race footage and then, made their camera angles to what that would have been. So as we go on board with, let's see here. Yeah, you're coming off the turn. This is a real camera angle in real life. Just a good shot down the straightaway. This camera angle is kind of not real, but it kind of is. It's a little bit higher and a little bit more wide, but you get the idea. And then the turn 1 camera is real life as well, looking down the straightaway.
Hey, gentlemen.
Right here. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to be a newbie, but I have no idea how to get to the view for what you're talking about.
Do you have YouTube? You have a tablet or a mobile?
Oh, okay. I've got my laptop sitting right over here.
Yeah, go look up SCL Racing Network on YouTube, and then subscribe to that, and you'll see the live feed that we're doing at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, the trackside's going to be really helpful because it does give that real life camera angles that they did put in the game. More often than not, the camera angles are pretty good. They keep the background pretty well viewed. So if there's action in the back, you can still commentate on it while being on the one car you're on. That's kind of what I do at speedways. You'll be commentating, let's say, at the front of the field, but the camera angle's just wide enough, which was nice. You could see the back, and if something happens in the back, because you're always scanning. That's the thing. When you're commentating, you got to be aware of is you're not just focusing on this one car you're commentating on. You're always looking back, forward, side. You're trying to find anything that might be happening. Unless a huge battle is breaking out between these 2 drivers, then you focus on that. But, that's a little bit more of road course, commentary right there.
Yeah, I was going to add right there a couple things that I with the broadcast. Number one, if you're putting up these interfaces, and they look better when there's two, when you have a play-by-play guy and then a color guy, you won't see a lot of that on the screen. So that's the ideal way to do it when you have two in the booth. But either way, we like to have a lot, gives guys a view of where the viewers can see where all the cars are out on the track. So I like to leave the map up for them. And the big thing, like he said, is this is what I was telling guys last season during broadcast. It is easier to do the road race than it is to do a speedway race. So if you're hesitant, road races are a little bit easier. But the general rule of thumb is, I was telling guys, this is how you get airtime. You get airtime by running near the front, racing for position, or the bad way is by wrecks and being shown that you're causing trouble. So basically what that means is that's telling the race director, when you're not sure what to do, you cycle through the top 5, you find the races for position, and you find the wreck. So like you're looking up on the board here on the left, those of you that are following along, and this is not where it's at, but because we're doing a test session, but let's look at the gaps here and say that was the racing gaps. 2 and 3 there, 2.2, 2.4, you know that they're on the track close. I would go right away and get on board with Howie in that situation, or with myself. We're not on the track right now, but you guys get the gist of it, because that's a battle for position. You know that they're close together on the track. That's what people want to watch. When nobody is close to position, then you go through what broadcasters call the camera, they call the cycle. Okay, nobody's close in position. Let's start at we'll go to the leader. Okay, leader is Serdell. Serdell looking good. We'll talk about him a little. This is where knowing your stuff. Like every page on the website for each series has the archive data and the point standings. We're not asking you to read, War and Peace before doing a race, but it helps to know, like I was saying last, an IndyCar race and you got Kip battling up near the front. It helps to be able to throw out there that Kip's the all-time winningest IndyCar driver, 18 career wins, 5 championships, going for the lead again. Now we're on to second. And then you cycle through the field when you have everybody gapped out. Cycle through the top 5 or so, pay attention to the close to each other, you get back to the battle. And that's basically it. You watch it as you would a viewer. And we're not judging people's commentating on the mic. Y'all don't have to sound like Marv Albert or, Mike Joy or whoever Murray Walker or whoever just as long as you're not sitting there, fucking A, God damn it, son. Not talking like an asshole. As long as you represent all right, then that's all we're really worried about.
Yeah, you just brought up a really good side point there. If you are a sailor, and I say that as very considerate as I am, I cuss like a sailor. But when you're on here, you gotta act like you're at your mother's house for Thanksgiving. You turn that off. If you start cussing, that's when, unfortunately, that's when YouTube starts doing the whole, no, that's demonetized, you can't do that. So, limit the cussing. If it just slips out because there's a huge wreck and you go, whoa, damn, that's fine. But don't be going like, oh yeah, well Kip, he's been having a blah blah year, and I can't believe he's having that kind of blah blah year. And just you don't cuss when you're commentating, even if you are a sailor. Act like you're at your mother's or you're in middle school. you're around a teacher. Just don't do it.
Yeah, they'll slip out once in a while, but just basically just rep us good. Not all you guys are good about that, but it's not. The truth is that for those that are like intimidated by it, it's actually fun doing a podcast. You don't have the pressure of running a race, and especially if you're in the booth with somebody, you got a play-by-play guy and then a color guy talking less and running the camera. It's fun. You have a good time doing it, and it's it's fun to look back on.
Yeah.
And of course, you in the series that you do it, and then in the series you're racing, somebody's doing it. You get to go back and watch the races. It's a blast. And
I can attest to that because I've only done it once. That was Trans Am at Watkins Glen, and it was with WKK. It was probably the most fun I've had watching a race. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, you get into it, and it just helps build the texture that those of you that are racing with us now know. That's why SCL so well and is as big as we are and do what we do. It's because you're not racing in Joe's Thursday night NASCAR league. We brand, we present it the right way, and it makes it more fun for everybody. And so like I said, if you're on the fence about it, not like mandatory things or anything for the drivers, but give it some thought, because it is fun doing the broadcast. It's fun to be in the booth, especially when, and it's the drama is real. Just like we have silly season as we get near the end of the season with the team, the drama is real out there on the track. And if you guys are interested in doing it, we'd love to have you all be a part of the media department.
Yeah, well, I put my hand up to sort of throw in where people are on Bathurst, because I know the thing back to front and up and down sideways for all the late early
absolutely.
years of who was doing what when, and who was racing what back in the day, and who's racing what now. Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Through and through. So it's not 48 going 49 now, and I've been watching it most of the years I've been able to watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's also other stuff. There's also other stuff to mention besides broadcast and races that involves the media department. We do pre-race and post-race shows. We have at SCL Racing, which is like a studio show type of thing. We'll interview guys, talk about whatever. We do that kind of stuff. If you are one of those people who enjoys messing with Share Factory and making videos, you go on the website right now, what's up has a promo video that we put together. So we'd like to do stuff. So there's other stuff just besides the broadcast. It's just a matter of what anybody wants and is interested in doing. We're more. This works because it's a collective effort. We're all partners in it, and if anybody's interested in that stuff, you just let us know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that's the whole point of this meeting is, to let people know, hey, we're, we want to have every race broadcasted this season. That's our goal in the media department. We've already checked off one of the goals for the media department. Little cheers out to Kip and Carlin here for getting the website almost fully updated. So that's a big check off the list for this season. And the next check is to get commentators, and then the check after that would be to get every race broadcasted, or at least even without commentary, just out there. So,
yeah,
later.
we have the onboards. We have the onboards regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Onboards are on every race. Ideally, the reality is when Real Racing Series started broadcasting races, the big ones, they couldn't get to all of them. We realize that may happen to us. That'll probably be how it'll be for a while, but the goal is to get to where dedicated teams to each series. Just like okay, I run Winston Cup and IndyCar, but I broadcast Camel GT and Le Mans Series, whatever. That kind of. I think that one of the interesting things that about putting the broadcast together like that is just to like you said, we're trying to cover as much as we can. That's obviously the goal, but there is the onboard broadcast. That's something I should touch on now. The onboard, we're trying to get to where 100% of the marshals are on with this. We've got about probably half of them or more at this point, but there is a way to, especially for the race marshals, we broadcast all when you're doing the onboard feeds, and they all go onto our YouTube channel so that we can then organize them into playlists and stick them together. that not only helps us because it's broadcast and that people can watch, but the onboards help with the officiating because we can look back and see what happens. Now, the way that we do that is we basically are all logged in to the SCL Racing Network YouTube, so that it, if there's 4, 5, 6 of us live feeding at the same time, it all goes up on the channel. Especially if you're a race marshal, like Muttley, a good idea to get on board with that, because we can, then we have it all in one place. And
just send me how to do it, and I'll do it. Just the wife, doing a bit of house cleaning behind me, so I'm gonna be on and off the mic.
Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, but that's something we'll talk about with the guys that want, when we're getting towards, you want to have your live feed up onto the, up appreciated, and we'll show you how to do it. It's just a matter of logging into our YouTube. And I mean, that's about covers what I got. You got more?
Yeah, that just about covers it. I mean, it's probably the most fun you'll have. I mean, the thing about commentating is, and people always get into the commentary booth and they're thinking, oh, I gotta be so perfect. No, you're pretty much a fan, just talking about what you're seeing on screen. That's pretty much it, because when I commentate the IndyCar races, it's just me fanning, just geeking out, having a geek fest about, oh, wow, oh, look at Cole making that move. Oh, it's just, having fun. Commentating is one of the few things that I love to do. And back on the day, and it didn't start out with me going, stepping out of the womb going, oh, yeah, great day here. It takes a little bit to do it, but once you get it, it's so fun. As a kid, I turned off the audio for NASCAR races, and I used to self-commentate myself.
Yeah,
I didn't know what the hell. I didn't know what I was talking about at the time, but it's something to start by. And if you don't feel like you know how to commentate or the points you need to get across, I highly recommend you go watch, some previous NASCAR races, or hell, even an IMSA race. Listen to how they commentate. If you're going to do sports cars, that's an excellent, John Himba, excellent commentator. So if you listen to him and how he commentates and the points he gets across, you apply that to your sports car commentary, I guarantee you'll be fine. NASCAR, any of the major ones. Hell, CBS had a great commentary crew back in the day. I'd go watch some of the CBS races. So it's just those little things, you can go take notes on, and then you bring them to here. And even if you don't even fully bring your whole notebook here onto the PlayStation, at least now, like the words to hit, like off the final corner or into the, just the things that get across. Because you got to feel like when you're commentating, you got to feel like the people watching the race are absolutely blind. They don't see anything.
Yeah, you're walking them through it. And a big part of what he's saying also is that's where the depth and the tech helps you. The league's been around 8 years. We've had 22 championship seasons. We have all those archives. One of the reasons guys race with us, just completely separate from the media department, is because of the depth of the league. You're not just racing against the guys on track. You're racing against the history of the league. There's people who have come and gone that, have raced with us and retired, that names are in the book. Use that in the broadcast. It doesn't take nothing to jump on the website before you're going to broadcast a Camel GT race and look over the wins list, the list of champions, the list of Daytona Continental winners, which is the big major, and just knowing that so that and then you apply your knowledge as a driver. I mean, you guys know you're here because you know what you're doing. You guys are sim racing, if not pros, high amateurs. And the fact of the matter is that you apply that knowledge that you have as a driver. Go in there and, you see a battle going on. You're like, they're describing what's happening. I know what Howitzer's doing. He's trying to get by Muttley here. He's trying to set him up. Can't quite get his nose enough to get off that corner with the speed, but he's falling back. So, use what you know about racing and what the league provides for you in terms of depth of detail, and you just apply that. You just apply, and all it takes is to look over you can literally have your tablet or your mobile or whatever in front of you with the page up for the series that you're in, and you're going out there. Okay, here we are out today at Fuji Formula One race. I mean, I know I can look at it right away and go, okay, our pole sitter is O'Brien. O'Brien, this is this is his first pole of the season. He was the winner back at Monaco. Blah blah whatever. That kind of stuff is just how you add it. You've got all that data right in front of you, and it helps depending, like Warren was saying. It depends on the nature of the booth that you're in. If you're in a two-man booth, you have a guy that's live streaming, and you're running the camera. You're the color guy. Generally speaking, Warren's the lead play-by-play guy. I'm the secondary play-by-play guy and the lead color guy. So basically, Warren's going to be the lead play-by-play when he's myself, Johnny, Kip, whoever. We're the main color guys, whoever's with him in what particular series. If Warren's running in the race, I'll usually take the play-by-play, and one of you guys or somebody else jumps in as the color guy. If you're running the cameras and doing color commentary, you don't got to talk as much, so you're more focused on the camera. You just add things in when you see it. It's a little different when you're doing play-by-play. Color commentary's watching, the play-by-play guy is walking you through it, and that's the difference between the two things that you're doing. As far as when we're in here in the post races or in the broadcast show, we're doing inside SCL Racing broadcast. There'll be a lead guy running it, either myself, Johnny, or Warren, and we'll throw it to you. And we generally run through the subjects. We got half an hour, so we're going to do 10 minutes on IndyCar, 5 minutes on this, 5 minutes on this, and then we just tear right through it. And there's nothing to do but that. You just gather your thoughts, and when we throw it to you. So last week at Watkins Glen had a hell of a Camel GT race. What'd you think about it, Watcher? Because then all of a sudden he's going to, but yeah, that's how it goes. You do the best you can.
What? Yeah, no, I thought it was a good race. I really did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it, and that's basically all I got. Warren, you got anything else to wrap up for these boys and girls?
Not really. It's just if you do feel like you want to do it, shoot me, Carlin, Kip, or Johnny a message, and we'll try to see what we can set up. I'm commentating IndyCar. Carlin, you said you're doing V8s, right? If
my plan as far as that goes, I'm hoping to do F1 and Le Mans Series. I'm hoping to do the international tour races.
Okay.
Unfortunately, due to my schedule, I can't be like I can't say 100% that I'm there on all of them. But my plan is to be there for the international tour races.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing IndyCar. You might do F1 and International Le Mans, so you might get a second guy just in case. Camel GT is wide open. No one's commentating that yet. That'll be a good one to commentate. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about in that one. Thursday Night Thunder, I might do that, but depending on if I get this new job, that might have to switch over. And then Winston Cup right now, I believe Sir Racelot and Liam are going to be doing that. So if that falls through, there's always room.
Yeah, there's always room to get on that crew. There's room for Camel GT. I'm going to try to be there for Thursday night as well. I'm not running those series, so if I can make it that night, I'm going to be there for that. And basically, when you guys are interested, I'm bored. But other than that, I do got to wrap it up and get back to the little man here.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, we're get on the website, get all your data up. The SCL Racing Network YouTube, make sure you subscribe to that. And on the website, all the schedules. And Thursday night is we have a Winston Cup test tomorrow, and we're going to be the haulers are getting to Daytona tomorrow. Speed Week starts on Thursday with the first exhibitions. So we'll just look forward to seeing you guys out there.
All right, that'll do it for this meeting, guys. Thanks for coming in.